Hey everyone, this is Annie Hedgpeth, co-founder of PeopleWork, and this is part of a series where I read you my blog posts. This one is called Friendships and Firewalls, Hitting a Nerve at DevOps Days. It was originally posted on April 4th, 2025. In March, I went to 2 different DevOps Days events in LA and Chicago and gave a talk called Friendships and Firewalls, Building a Balanced Professional Network. I wanted to impress upon my DevOps friends that technical skills are oftentimes not the limiting factor to career growth, relationship skills are. When AI can write your infrastructure as code, what makes you invaluable is your ability to influence, collaborate, and navigate complex human systems. The good news is that we can apply systems networking concepts to our professional networks, and the feedback I received was that it hit a nerve. I'll put a link below for the presentation at DevOps Days Rockies in September. When technical excellence isn't enough, you've probably experienced at least one of these scenarios in your career. The builder who creates an amazing internal tool with perfect documentation only to see minimal adoption 6 months later. The fixer who swoops in to solve the nastiest bugs for major customers but gets passed over for promotion. The anchor whose technical expertise actually traps them in their current role when exciting new projects emerge. The island who realizes during restructuring that their connections have completely narrowed to just their immediate team. The advocate, a fantastic manager who champions their team but gets overlooked for a director role because they aren't seen as leadership material. In each of these situations, technical skills were not the limiting factor. Relationship skills were. We're conditioned to believe that if we just get better at our technical craft, success will follow. But the reality is far more nuanced. Career growth often hinges on our ability to build and maintain effective professional connections, a systems approach to relationships. But my DevOps Days audience understands infrastructure. We segment networks, create firewall rules, and monitor system health. What if we applied the same intentional approach to our professional relationships? What would change for you? Let's walk through a framework that does exactly that. Define and segment your network. As technical professionals, we're trained to be very intentional about systems architecture, but haphazard about professional connections. We often invest in relationships that happen organically, people that we see daily. But the challenge is that sometimes the relationships that could actually advance our goals remain undeveloped simply because they're not in our daily path. And this isn't a personal failing, it's a system design problem. Start by defining your career objectives, not your official development plan, but what you truly want. Do you want to be a team lead, build your own company, have the flexibility to enjoy personal pursuits? With clear goals established, you can identify which relationships will help you achieve them. Next, segment your professional connections much like you'd segment a network. I found it helpful to organize mine into 4 categories. These are not HR terms per se, but loose categories, which I define as the verb by which I want to focus my attention with that group. Align. This is comprised of those with a vested interest in your outcomes. Mentors, leadership, project stakeholders. Your goal is to support what's important to them so that they'll vouch for you when you're not in the room. Those are the people with whom you wish to align. Partner. These are your close peers. People at your level with you working regularly. Supporting these relationships helps you to become more collaborative and better aligned with broader objectives. These are the people with whom you wish to partner. Guide. This group includes those whose work you have a vested interest in and who look to you for leadership. By giving them the support they need, they become allies in supporting your mission. These are the folks you seek to guide. Network. This is your broader community beyond your team. These connections are less frequent but still very meaningful professional relationships. These are the people with whom you maintain cultural awareness and broader influence beyond your immediate sphere. These are the folks with whom you wish to network. In all of the scenarios I had mentioned before, had they spent more time nurturing the relationships in these groups, they may have had better outcomes. The builder created an amazing tool, but couldn't drive adoption because he hadn't cultivated those network connections across teams. The fixer swooped in to save the day technically, but would have benefited more from being intentional about leading the rest of his team with vision. He forgot that staff engineer is actually a leadership position. The anchor found himself stuck despite his expertise, because he didn't show alignment with the rest of his team's strategic priorities. He wasn't considered for the new team because he was a lone wolf and they needed a team player. The advocate excelled at supporting her team, but didn't seek to align better with other leaders, so no one felt that they could vouch for her for the director role. The island's social and professional network outside of her company diminished as she concentrated on excelling in her role. This lack of external connections left her vulnerable and limited her options when her company underwent restructuring. Firewall and automate your connections. Without proper boundaries and automation, we face two common relationship pitfalls. First, the boundary deficit, where we struggle with saying no and become overextended. The manager with endless 15-minute meetings, working nights and weekends to catch up, the engineer who becomes everyone's unofficial help desk, the SRE monitoring dozens of channels just in case. Second, the just-in-time networking trap, activating relationships only when we need something. This is approaching leaders only during promotion cycles, engaging stakeholders only when seeking project approval, rebuilding external connections only when layoffs are looming. People know you're doing this, so just don't do it. Just as you create firewall rules to protect your systems, set boundaries to protect your time and energy. Establish interaction patterns based on relationship type. My approach to an intern differs greatly from a VP, though I aim for mutual success with both. Be intentional about communication fidelity. When we spread ourselves thin across low-fidelity communications, monitoring threads and reacting to everything, we feel engaged, but we miss deeper connections. With key relationships, prioritize high-fidelity interactions. A Slack huddle beats a message, a lunch meeting beats a huddle, an offsite beats everything. Most importantly, create systematic check-ins with your key contacts. Organize your professional connections by category with clear intentions for frequency, medium, and purpose. This could be a simple spreadsheet or a calendar system or even our app. What matters is having a proactive approach that makes the right thing the easy thing. Remember, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Monitor and adjust your relationships. As data-driven professionals, we track system health obsessively, but often rely on intuition for relationship health. This leaves us blind to subtle patterns. The one-way relationship where you're always giving. The work friend who helps technically but drains you with negativity. The manager who listens but never provides actionable feedback. These aren't failures of intent. They're observability gaps. Track relationship health by noting reciprocity. Who initiates, who benefits, energy balance, who energizes, who drains, and influence flow. Are your ideas gaining traction? And then conduct regular network health checks to ensure that you're maintaining internal-external balance, cross-functional reach, and decision-maker accessibility. But how? Shouldn't we just know? Well, the truth is, sometimes our intuition can be off. That's why I've created a simple practice for tracking relationship health. After each meaningful interaction, I note both what happened and how I felt about it. These feelings are data. If I consistently feel drained after meetings with someone, that's a pattern signaling misalignment. If I regularly feel energized and inspired, that could be an indication that we can get stuff done together. Noting both facts and feelings ensures that my judgment isn't getting clouded by one or the other. This simple practice helps spot relationship patterns that I might otherwise miss. It's not weird at all. Just really good observability. Don't forget external networks. All of these principles apply to connections beyond your workplace too. When we're deep in exciting work at our jobs, external relationships can naturally fade. Not intentionally, there's just limited bandwidth. But like disaster recovery, external professional relationships work best as an ongoing practice, not an emergency response. Because the painful truth is that professional networks take time to build. If you start building one when you need one, you're already months behind. Put meaningful external connections on autopilot through recurring calendar invites with mentors, regular group activities that create natural touch points, etc. Your future self will thank you when career changes inevitably arise. Engineering your path forward. If you're struggling to get promoted, start your own venture, get other teams to take you seriously, be seen as a leader, or whatever it is, try approaching your professional relationships with the same intentionality that you bring to your technical systems and see what changes for you. Those who deliberately build their professional networks find not only greater career opportunities, but deeper agency and satisfaction. This intentional approach to relationships is key to fighting burnout and creating a sustainable vision for your future. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.